it's Chinero here. In today's class, I'm going to be showing you the simplest way to solve division of algebraic fraction. Without further ado, let's start learning. Let's take a look at this example. Simplify 2 over PQ divided by P over RQ. When you're given a question like this, how do you go about solving it? If you observe, we have a fraction by the left hand side and equally a fraction here, okay? So whenever you're given something like this, here's what you do. The first step is to convert these to times. It becomes multiplication. Whenever you have a whole number dividing a fraction or a fraction dividing a fraction, what you're going to do, by the time you introduce a multiplication sign here, this one, the RQ becomes the numerator, while the P becomes the denominator. So we are going to have RQ over P. So the next thing we are going to do, let's divide. We have a Q here and we have a Q here. So Q goes here 1, Q goes here 1. Let's see if there's any other thing that can divide. We have R here, we have a P. It's not possible. So what we simply do is to multiply it out. So we are going to say 2 times R gives us 2R, and P times P gives us P squared. So our answer is 2R over P squared. Let's take a look at something different. Okay, how about something like this? How do you go about solving it? This is quite different. If you observe, the numerator, we have x squared minus 1, and the denominator is a quadratic equation. So first of all, let's simplify the numerator. If you want to simplify the numerator, what we use the difference of perfect square, okay, method. That's what we are going to use. In using that, we're going to find what's the square root of x squared. We have x, okay, and then we introduce a minus sign here. And then what's the square root of 1? It's 1. Then we close the bracket. Then, of course, we have x again. And then the square root. And then 1. But this time we introduce a positive sign. And then we write 1. So that by the time you solve this, you're still going to get this, okay? So the next thing we do is to solve for the denominator. In solving for the denominator, we can use factorization method, okay, to find its value. So let's do that. We are going to have x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now, x times minus 6 gives us minus 6x squared. Now, you're going to ask yourself, what are the possible factors that when you multiply them, you get minus 6x squared, but when you add them, you're going to have plus 5x. The factors are, you have let's write the possible factors first. Let's write out the possible factors. We have minus x and 6x. And we have minus 3x and 2x, and minus 3x and minus 2x. Okay, let's just stop here. Let's take a look at this. We are definitely going to go with this, okay, because this suits the requirement I earlier mentioned. So we are going to have x squared replacing minus x and 6x. We are going to replace 5x with this. So wherever we have 5x, we are going to put minus x and plus 6x. Okay, then we can now solve. So we are going to ask ourselves here, what's the common factor of x? The common factor here is x. So if you say x squared divided by x, is going to give you x. And if you say minus x divided by x is going to give you minus 1. So we're going to have minus 1 here. We're going to have minus 1 here. Then let's take a look at this one. We have 6x and plus 6x and minus 6. So what's the common factor here? The common factor here is 6. So we're going to have plus 6, then 6x divided by 6. When you say 6x divided by 6, you're going to have x. And when you say minus 6 divided by plus 6, 6 goes here 1, 6 goes here 1, then we're going to have, this cancels out, we have minus. So this becomes minus 1. And we close the bracket. So now that we've gotten to this stage, all we do is to pick one of these. Since these two are the same, we pick one of these and then pick this. Okay, so this will be what we are going to write as the denominator. We have succeeded in simplifying it. So we are going to have x plus 6 and x minus 1. So the next thing we are going to look for, is there anything that can divide? Look at the numerator, look at the denominator. So we have minus x minus 1 here, and we have x minus 1. So this can divide. So x minus 1 divided by itself is 1. X minus 1 divided by itself is 1. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to use 1 to multiply this. So if you say 1 times x, you have x. 1 times 1, you have plus 1 over, what we are left with in the denominator is x plus 6. So we have x plus 6. So this becomes our answer. Okay, let's look at something quite complex. Look at this example. Is quite similar with the previous one, but in this case we have the one that we are supposed to find the perfect square as the denominator and the quadratic expression on top. So let's start by simplifying this. Okay, so in doing that, we're going to have s squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So by the time we multiply s squared times y squared, we'll be left with x squared y squared. Now we're going to ask ourselves, what are the common factors here? Then we are going to use this minus xy and minus xy. If you take a look at this, by the time you multiply it, you get this. And if you sum it up, you're going to have minus 2xy. So we simply use this one to replace minus 2xy. So we're going to have s squared minus xy minus xy plus y squared. Now that we have this, let's find the common factor here. Our common factor here is x. So if we say x squared divided by x, we are going to be left with x. And then when we say minus xy divided by x, we are going to be left with minus y. Okay, so we are done with this one. Now let's solve for this one. In solving for this one, what's the common factor for minus xy and plus y squared? You can see there's a y here and there's a y here. So that's the common factor. So we are going to pick minus y, okay? And then we open up the bracket. We are going to have minus xy divided by minus y. So y goes here 1, y goes here 1. The minus signs cancels out. We are left with what? X. We are just left with x. So this divided by this gives us x. And then we have plus y squared divided by minus y. Remember, your y squared is same as saying y times y, okay? So if we do this will cancel out, this will cancel out. We're left with y, okay? We have a 1 here, which we don't necessarily write, okay? So by the time we are saying 1 divided by 1 is still 1, and then plus divided by minus gives us minus, so we'll be left with minus y. Then we close the bracket. Now we've gotten to this stage, what we simply do, let's pick this, okay? We're going to pick this and then pick one of these, okay, to become our numerator. So we're going to have x minus y and x minus y. Okay, now we've succeeded in simplifying the numerator. How about the denominator? In the denominator, we still use the difference of perfect square, okay? And then what we do, we are going to have x plus y here, and we have x minus y. So we are going to check what can divide. Okay, we have x minus y here, we have x minus y, so it can divide. We can use this to divide this, or we can use this to divide this. So whatever you want to use, we are still going to arrive at the same answer. X minus 1 goes here 1, x minus 1 goes here 1. So we are left with x minus y over x plus y. So we have x minus y, x plus y. This becomes our answer. Okay, so we've succeeded in solving this. Let's take another example for clarity. So let's take a look at this fourth example. We are going to repeat the same thing we did in the previous one. Let's find the value for this quadratic expression. Okay, let's do it this way. We're going to have x squared plus 5y plus 6, and then multiplying x squared by 6, we're going to have 6x squared. Now what are the factors here? 3x and 2x, and we have x and 6x. So if we take a look at this, let's stop here. If we take a look at this, this is the one we are going to use. Okay, we use this so that we are going to make use of this, and then we are going to replace it with what? 5x. So wherever we have the 5x, we are going to be using this. So we are going to have x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. So this is what we have now. We can now solve. Then we are going to have, what's the common factor here? The common factor here is x. So if you say x squared divided by x gives us x, then plus 3x divided by x gives us plus 3. We close the bracket. Then in this one we have 2x plus 6. Then what's the common factor here? Our common factor is plus 2. Now when we say 2x divided by plus 2, we are going to have x. And then if we say plus 6 divided by plus 2, we are going to have plus 3. Then we close the bracket. So we simply pick one of these since they are the same, and then we pick this to become our numerator. So we are going to have x plus 3 and x plus 2 as our numerator. So how about the denominator? Let's solve for that. For the denominator, we simply use the difference of perfect squares. So in doing that, the square root of x squared is x. Okay, so we put it here and here, and then the square root of 9 is 3. So we have a minus 3 here and we have a plus 3 here. So we are done with the denominator. The next thing we are going to do is to divide. So this can divide. We have x plus 3 here and we have x plus 3 here. So we are going to say this goes here 1. We are dividing and this goes here 1. So we are done with the division. Let's check if there's any other thing that can divide. We have x plus 2 here and we have x minus 3. There's no other thing. So we simply multiply, use 1 to multiply this out. When you use 1 to multiply x, we have x. And when you say 1 times plus 2, you have plus 2. So that's what we have for the numerator. How about the denominator? We simply have what? X minus 3. So this is it on division of algebraic fractions. If you got value from this video, give me a thumbs up. Do you love to see more videos like this? Hit the subscribe button and then turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload videos like this. And never you forget, math can really be easy. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.